Keith Craig Harris, Red Army Second Class, United States Navy. I know the Perry was at one time, it was stationed, home ported out of Key West, Florida. And I think in like 1967 or 68, they closed the base in Key West, and they sent the Perry over to the Pineapple Fleet, to the 6th Fleet over the Pacific at Pearl. The McMorris class that the Perry was in was a experimental in a way, the way it was built. We had what was called a bathtub bottom. Most ships come down and got a flat bottom. Ours was just round, like the old bathtubs. And supposedly that was to take rolls in seas without capsizing. And if you did, it should come back up. We hit some pretty good storms, rode out 2 typhoons, and we took some pretty good rolls that everybody was scared. And I remember a security cabinet that was anchored down to the floor and everything was ripped off on one of the rolls because they were so hard and that. Basically, that's all we did was track the Russian shots, all their test missiles and test shots and that. That was the Cold War we did. Everything was to do with their space program and with their missile capabilities as far as length and IBMs and ICBMs and stuff like that. We would find out where it was at. We would carry CTs sometimes on board, well, quite a few times, and cryptonology technicians, which was all top secret ratings and that, and they would analyze everything, and we would, on our ACM gear, we would tell them what type of radars they had, because screens would come up in different wave signals and wavelengths, so we had books on that, so we knew what type of radars they had, and I'm sure they had the same thing with us. Everybody called it Cold War, but everybody knew what the left hand knew what the right hand was doing anyway, so, except for the higher ups, you know, some of your real classified stuff. But yeah, we used to make jokes out of it. Look at each other through the big eyes, which was the big binoculars up on the 05 level. And we would wave at each other and pass, and it got to where oh, that's the so-and-so, you know, before you ever see it, because you knew the radars it had. They were radar ships. They were just loaded with radars. Some of them had globes on them that kind of looked like the Epcot Center. Sitting right in, you know, so it'd be like if you look at a big freighter today, that's what a lot of these look like, except everything was loaded with just all different types of radars on them and that. But that big ball radar is the one that really stands out, that you never forget seeing. And like I said, it was just like looking at the Epcot Center, they were so big. One time, we could almost tell color of eyes. Don't really remember a whole lot of it. Outside, we got called to battle stations, and I run up into combat at CIC, because I was a radarman. That was our battle stations up there. And like I said, we had no armament, so it didn't make any difference. So it was just a bluff deal, and they were just, I think what they were trying to do was just to move us or see if we would give ground, and we didn't. The young man that we had on board, he just stood his ground. He wouldn't back up. And that was the only real close encounter that we ever had. But we would always get 1,000 yards or so, you know. Sometimes, most of the time, it was horizon to horizon. I was CIC combat is what it was called at the time. I had a couple different officers that was over CIC, over the radar and radio and sonar and everything. And one, this quick, I can't remember his name. He was tall and thin. We called him Mr. Zoom. Every time he moved, it was just, he was just a flash. And he was a great guy, great guy. As long as we showed respect to him, you could talk to him any way you wanted to. He was down to earth, but he was also an officer, and he was treated and respected as an officer. But you could say anything you wanted to him as long as you said "Mister," and then go through your whole rant and rage, and at the end of it, you said "Sir." Everything in the middle went in one ear and out the other to him most of the time. We would run ops, and sometimes I'd be on a DRT, dead reckoning tracer. Other times I would be on the bogey tote board with 3 sets of headphones on. And I would plot. A bogey tote board is a big piece of plexiglass that's clear, and it's got circles and globe on it for directionals and distances and that. Where the combat officer can turn around and look and tell you where aircraft are, where friendlies are, where bogeys and enemies are, where underwater craft is. So you're always marking with different colors and grease pencils, times and marks. And after a while, I got to know whose voice was whose, so they wouldn't have to say sonar or, something like this. I just knew who they were. It's something that you learn to do. I'm sure everybody that went through any type of training on that, after repetition, you just learn. And that was basically, my lead radarman, our chief, he was a first class MA chief, get along, was a great guy. Taught me everything I knew about radar. What I learned in school, it's like anything else until you get hands-on and actually get OJT, then you understand what the books and what they were teaching you in that. And he took the time to sit down and take people under his wing and show them how to do things and what was going on in that. And he made sure I got all my courses done to make E3, E4, E5, the crew, JT, Jimmy, Mac, Owen Barr, Dave, something. Hezekiah, Bixler is what we called him. He was from, him I remember real well. I'm not going to say his whole name, but he was a big southern person, lived just outside Atlanta or South Atlanta. And we just had a great tight crew. The whole gang was real tight, real good. Sometimes they'd call me Sunshine, because on the bad days I'd still come up, and I was always taught, just roll with the punches. You got, there's nothing you can do about it, go along with it. And I'd get up. One incident, because I always got up in the mornings, and whenever I go up combat, I'd walk in, go and grab my coffee cup, pour Jill in it, take a little sip, set it down. I'd throw the dog on the back hatch, throw the hatch open and step out, step over, and throw my arms up and yell, "Good morning, world." What are you going to do? Had another day of life, and what happened yesterday was yesterday, and let's go from here. Well, I was a little inebriated one night off the beach and wasn't thinking about it, and I walk into combat not feeling real great the next morning. And everybody was in there. Didn't think anything about it. Grabbed my cup, poured Jill in, took my little sip, sat it down, throwed the hatch, throwed that hatch door open and stepped out, went "Good morning, holy," and I come out with a ranting that make any sailor happy. And unbeknownst to me, during the night, the USS New Jersey pulled in and was moored right behind us. And when I stepped out and looked up, there were 6 16-inch boards looking right at me about that big around. And yeah, they all got a kick out of that. And that's what they were waiting on, to see what my reaction was going to be, because I didn't know it was there. We got along good. Everybody helped everybody. So yeah, I got good memories on that. So that was some of the fun times. Steamed back, went to Fremantle, Australia, Perth, Australia, Adelaide, Australia, Sydney, Australia, Pago, Samoa, back to Pearl. In and out of Midway a lot of times with our Pacific steaming. I am a shellback across the equator 6 times. Just stationed in Pearl whenever we'd be in there, you know, just regular Liberty deal down Waikiki Beach. Fun times back then. I got orders for boat school. Yeah, I got transferred off and went to Vallejo, California, Mare Island is where I took boat training.